Hey guys, welcome to my Love is Blind review. So I am actually going to be taking it back all the way to episode 7. I know that I owed a review for 7, 8, and 9, those episodes, and I did film it and I did record it, but I was at home in Ohio last week when I recorded it, and my parents were walking around making all types of noise, and his mother, sorry, Dad was making noise. I had to stop it again. Anyways, yeah, so I never edited it, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna put it all together. So I'm not gonna do a part 1 and part 2. This is gonna be one long review of episodes 7 through 11. All right, so I'm gonna take us all the way back to episode 7 because those were the episodes that we need to talk about, okay? And I need to give my opinion. So I know y'all have probably seen all of them by now and have caught up, but I'm still going to talk about it and give my opinion on the foolishness that was going on in those episodes, okay? And then I'll be back to give my review for the weddings, which will be, I'm assuming 2 episodes, maybe 1 episode. They'll get them all done. But I will be reviewing the weddings and then, of course, the reunion whenever it drops. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel if you are not yet. Make sure you comment your opinions and let me know how you feel about these people. And yeah, let's chat about it, right? Okay, so let's take it back to episode 7. Okay, first, before we get started, you guys like my shirt? My Snooki shirt and my hair. It's a wig because I've been wanting a bob. I've been seeing all the bobs going around, and I've been wanting a bob, and I've had this wig for a while, but I never styled it, so I decided to style it, and it looks really, really cute. Takes me back to how I used to look back in 2005. I won't tell you how old I was back then, but it'll give away my age. But yeah, it's cute. I like it. And my earrings too. I wore these out tonight, and I figured, you know, they're perfect for Love is Blind. So, all right, let's get into it. Episode 7. It opens picking up from where they left off with Brittany and Devontae when he was just sitting there like a doofus, not saying anything when she was talking to him, trying to tell him how she was feeling about him, not, you know, acting like he's attracted to her. So then I feel like production kind of like forced him to do it, but then he goes to the door while she's in there talking to production and is like, so do you want to talk? And then she comes out there and he literally stands there and says nothing. He triggers me because he is a replica of somebody I used to date. And I used to be just like Brittany, which we're going to get into later, with trying to make it work, trying to make it make sense. But no, it ain't going to make sense, girl. But anyway, let me not get too far ahead. Next, it goes into Chris and Jessica talking. I have no idea what they were talking about. I've got like play-by-play of every episode. We're not going to do all that, okay? Because we don't have time for that. I'm going to just go couple by couple, all right? So I already talked about Brittany and Devontae, but let me go back a little bit and talk about, what were their names? Tyler and Kia were on AD's podcast, which I told y'all in the last review that it wasn't going to be no time before they popped up on that podcast, and they sure did. But I feel like AD wanted them to say something negative about Kevin so bad, but they didn't. They were very classy about, you know, and took accountability for their actions and things like that, which I thought was commendable. But yeah, I knew they'd be on there immediately. Yeah, so I liked both of those young ladies. I thought that they did great in that interview. Like I said, accountability was had, and yeah. All right. Now, we're going to just go couple by couple because I don't want to keep going back and forth scene by scene with everything that's happening. Maybe once I get to episode 11, I'll do that. But for right now, we're going to just go couple by couple. So let's start with, we already talked about Brittany and Devontae and how they opened up. But what else can we say about Brittany and Devontae? Let me see. Brittany said that she feels like they have a good connection and feels safe with him. I was like, are we watching the same show? What are you talking about? Again, trying to create something out of nothing and like pretend that things are good. I understand because I did that with a Devontae. Okay. Not so much on the like the identity crisis side of things that this person was like Devontae. Lightweight, but not 100%. But just the energy, the communication style, the lameness, Yeah, I've had one of those. So yeah, so she says she feels safe with him. Not quite sure how or why, but that's what she said. It was within these episodes that they go to her parents' house. So we meet her mom, her dad, and her brother and his wife. And they all embrace Devontae. They're all so happy for Brittany because they know that this is what she wants and what she desires. Her dad cried, which took me back to, I can't remember their names, but it was a couple seasons ago where dude was mad that she took a nap. Y'all remember that? And her dad cried, and then he acted a dang on fool the next day, trying to get out of the situation. It was given that, and I was like, oh gosh, like, please don't take this dude seriously. Like, But I mean, he did some good acting in front of her family, but whatever. Yeah, I said that Brittany was being Delulu. She's being Delulu because she really, really wants this to work. She really wants something to come out of this. Now, let's fast forward. Now, we get to towards the end of this chunk of episodes where they're sitting on the couch, and then she's telling him again, you don't ever tell me that I look pretty. You don't ever, try to initiate any physical contact with me. You don't kiss me. You don't, you only compliment my clothes, which is like, girl, ding dong. He's a ding dong. What do you mean he only compliments your clothes? If that were the case with me, like, wouldn't that be like a sign to run? But again, I can't talk because, and this was recent when I dealt with this shit, but I can't talk. But he then proceeds to blame her, and it's like, well, the only reason I don't tell you you're pretty is because when we were in Mexico, you said that you wanted me to tell you that you're pretty, and then I feel like you're making me do it, and you're trying to tell me what to do, so then I don't want to do it anymore. No, you just don't find her to be pretty. That's all. You just don't think she's pretty. And then Brittany, in true to Lulu fashion, takes the blame and says that she'll do better. What? Like, I can't. But yeah, so that was that conversation. Then we move on, because that was like towards the end of that bunch of episodes. We move on, fast forward to now getting closer to the weddings. He's got like this weird like little giggle that he does when he's like being honest, but also being kind of shady at the same time. So he giggles to try to mask the BS, right? So they show them at one of their houses. I can't remember, but they're talking about finances. They're talking about future and, how much money each one of them makes and all that type of stuff. And he makes pretty good money. And she says something about, oh, well, you have to, be over our finances and things like that. And he's like, well, I hope that, you've got your play money, because you can't have any of mine. After he tells her that he makes $40,000 a month sometimes. And he's like, well, you can't have any of my money. This is somebody that's going to be your wife. Like, what are you talking about? Like, $40,000 a month and she can't have any of your money? Then later, towards the end of these episodes, well, in between there, they go dress shopping. And Brittany reveals with her mom that they already bought a dress. Like, before this process, they went out dress shopping because they just knew she was going to find her husband. This girl wants to be married, okay? And I think that because they made that investment, not just physically or monetarily, but also mentally have made that investment, she doesn't want to let this go. She wants to pretend like this is a good thing, or pretend like something good is going to come out of this, but it's not. But anyway, they have another conversation later where they're sitting on the couch, and he literally says that he's going to go ghost. He like tells her in advance, which in some regards I can kind of appreciate it, but at the same time it's like, are you for real? He said, just so you know, I'm probably going to go off the grid, like ghost, like not answering the phone, not talking, like I'm not going to even speak to you. I'm not going to talk. Like, that's what he tells her. And she's just like, okay. And then he says, well, there is one thing I want to talk to you about. And he said again about how he heard through the grapevine that she was talking negatively about him at the dress shop and stuff. And she's like, no, I just said that you're not a man of many words, and I don't know what you're going to say when I walk down the aisle, because she said, I've made peace with the fact that you're never going to what was the word she used? You're never going to, like, oh, what was the word? I know I wrote it down. You're never going to, like, swoon over me, or you're never going to, I've made peace with that. No, girl, you deserve somebody that is going to do that for you. You're gorgeous. Even if you weren't gorgeous, to anyone's opinion, ma'am, you deserve that. So, from your husband, so you don't think that you deserve for your husband to have some sort of reaction when you walk down the aisle to your beauty? What? So there's that. And then, now he said he had one thing to say. Then he's like, well, there's something else. These men they be looking for a reason to fight and looking for an out, okay? But he said, well, there's another thing. He's like, I've worked really hard for everything that I have. And just the conversation the other day about finances and everything. Like, I really want us to sign a prenup, which I don't know why people trip about prenuptial agreements. Maybe because I'm older now and somewhat established in my life and finances and things, that I don't see anything wrong with saying that. And I've got plans to make much more money. Okay. And I would like to sign a prenup. So I don't get why people are so up in arms about it, because it goes both ways. Like, you can put what you want in that prenuptial agreement. It's an agreement that you both come up with together. It doesn't always have to be about, oh, you can't take my money. Like, no, it's an agreement on what will happen in the event of XYZ. So I'm not against a prenup. Okay. However, I think on a show like this is something that should come up in the pods. How do you feel about a prenuptial agreement? I'm well off, I'm this, that. And I know that they love us blind, so they don't want to reveal how much money they make. But just because you ask for a prenup don't mean you got it. So I think that there's nothing wrong with that conversation. However, he is knowing that he is not going through with this, first of all. So I don't even know why he brought it up. Secondly, if he does decide to go through it, he's like, what's mine is mine. What's yours is yours. We not going to act like we together because you're not getting none of my money. But I also think that he may have thought that it would push her away and make her say, never mind, forget it, let's not do it. And then she's like, well, it's making me feel like you don't trust me, or that you're not confident in this. Ma'am, you know he's not confident in this. What more does he have to show you to say that he's not interested? I don't understand. So yeah, the weddings are this upcoming week, and he's saying no. And I feel like production is going to ask her to go first, and she's going to say yes. And then he's going to say no. I know this was going to happen. But if she's smart, she will say no first. I just have a feeling they're not going to have Devontae go first. Yeah, so let's move on to Emma and Mike. So in that first batch of episodes, I had wrote in my notes that Mike is a little sassy. He gets a little attitude sometimes. And even his mom said later, like, you have an attitude problem. He has a little attitude. But he's very OCD. So I felt like Emma was annoying him in a lot of those episodes. But I will say that I was happy to see him stand up for her when she met his parents. Because his mama ain't with it. Okay? At all. Neither is daddy. But that mama, Patty, she's not happy about this. She wanted him probably to marry a nice little Italian girl, and that ain't what Emma is. I mean, she's nice, but she ain't Italian. I like how he stood up for her, especially when she was talking about her desire or non-desire to have children, and how she's just kind of up in the air about it, which she's got to be honest, because then when they met with her family, her people was kind of like, I'm surprised that you saying it's a maybe, because you've been a hard no for as long as we've known you. And which makes me feel like you're just saying yes because you're saying maybe because you want to make him happy and you don't want to lose Mike. So you're saying, well, maybe, so that then you can go through with the marriage, and then you can be like, well, I said I didn't want to. So later you can tell him no, which I don't think is right. It's not fair. You have to consider a man as well when it comes to kids and what they want and what they desire before you make decisions about the child. Like you should. And now, once you're pregnant, girl, you make decisions for yourself of what you feel comfortable for your body. However, as far as making a child and the desire to have a kid and a marriage and things like that, all those things should be considered on both parties, okay? I said I liked Emma's parents, but then a lot of people online were saying like, well, she said how she used to come home and just go to the basement and nobody checked on her and everybody just thought she was okay. I'm like, oh, you got a point there. And then the sister saying, if I could go back and not have kids, I wouldn't. I don't know if that was the best thing to say on national TV. However, I think she was just trying to defend her sister to make sure that, because they kept trying to like talk Mike out of it. Like, you don't want kids. Kids are this. They ruin your vacations. They're this and that. No, when somebody wants kids like I do, you're not going to convince me to not want kids. No. And you shouldn't try. That's not right to do. So yeah, now fast forward with Emma and Mike. They, seem to be getting along great. They seem to be growing in love, right? I think that they are growing to like each other a lot more. I think Mike is starting to like Emma a lot more. I do think that, because they showed them right before the episodes ended, their wedding. And they showed Emma say, I do. Took her way too long to get to that, okay? She was going all in circles with what she was saying. I don't know what she was doing. And they kept showing Patty, Mike's mama, rolling her eyes. Because, again, she's not saying what she won't. And I felt like his parents also were kind of like trying to talk him out of getting married. Like, as long as you're happy. Are you happy? As long as you're happy. We only want what's best for you, and we want you to be happy. Whatever you want, if it makes you happy. Are you happy? Are you happy? Like, that's the energy they kept giving. But it cut off right before Mike makes a decision. Now, he said something before they walked down the aisle to the effect of, well, I know if she says yes at the altar, then that means that she's a yes for kids. That ain't what that means, sir. And if you think that's what that means, I'm afraid that you're going to be disappointed, because I don't trust Emma to be telling the truth. I think she wants to be married. That's it. Let's move on to Amber and Jordan. I like Jordan. I do. He is a vibe. Okay. Everybody talks about how he likes to eat. Yeah, that man can eat. That's fine. I like Jordan. But he's really cute. I think he's a really genuine guy. I think he's good for Amber. I think he may be one that actually came for the right reasons, or he got there and realized, oh, this ain't so bad. I might get a woman out the deal. But yeah, I do like Amber. She's a little quirky, but I do like her, and I like them together. I don't really have much to say about them because I think they're great. And he talked about how he met Emma's father, who's her daughter, which was great to meet him before meeting the daughter. I think that's great. And yeah, they make me smile. Anytime they're on the screen, I'm smiling at them. I think they're really, really cute. Now, this next batch of episodes that came out, Amber was mad about something. I still don't know what exactly she was mad about and what happened, but it was something to the effect of him expressing to Vic that he was nervous about going into the marriage with her having a kid, which, I mean, that's common conversation to have. I think her problem was the fact that he had the conversation with Vic and not with her, which I charge that to just being a man. Like, I'm not making excuses for poor communication, but at this point, men cannot communicate. I have accepted it, and that's just on par for being a dude. That's why he didn't communicate it to her. But I don't think he meant any harm by it. I don't think that he meant he was giving up. I don't think that he meant he's not interested. She just kind of got a little dramatic with that and insecure maybe a little bit with that, which I also can understand because you got to protect your baby. So I get that too. But they're great. I don't really have much else to talk about with Amber and Jordan. And speaking of Vic, let's talk about Vic and Christine. So again, a very genuine couple. I think they're very cute. I still think they're boring, but I think they're super cute. They're bougie too, which I think is cute. But I can't believe that they didn't even have an apartment. So not only did they not get to go on the vacation, they didn't give them an apartment. I felt like it would have at least been fair to be like, okay, well, we're not going to send y'all to Cabo, but we'll give y'all an apartment, and y'all going to go to Cabo, but y'all not going to get an apartment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that would have been more fair than to just make Vic and Christine the ones that get nothing. Vic is very gentle. He's a gentle man. I also still don't think he's there for the right reasons. When Alex said something, which I'll get on later, Alex said something that made me think the same thing about Vic. But I think he lucked out and found a girl that he really likes and is working. Her mom was very sweet. I thought that it was adorable that he prayed for them and with them. That was just, yes, I love that. I love a praying man. Yes. But I thought that was so sweet and so nice and such a masculine and leading thing to do, you know? I thought that was great. Yeah, not much more again to say about the two of them. They're doing fine. I think they're both going to say yes at the altar. Oh, they did have a really great conversation about raising biracial children, which I thought was really great on Christine's part to be the one to bring it up and ask him how he felt about it and what his concerns were. And, you know, he asked her what her concerns were, and they had a really mature conversation about that, because let's not shy away from the fact that the conversation needed to be had. So I commend them both for that, and I think they're beautiful and they will have beautiful children. And yeah, I hope that they are still together. So we'll see. All right, so we got two couples up. We need to talk about Alex and Ashley, and then we need to talk about we got three couples to talk about. Hold on. All right, so Alex and Ashley, let's talk about them now. Alex, again, he already talked about how he's a nomad and he's all over the place, and just the conversation between him and Ashley's dad. Ashley's dad was doing way too much with all them questions. After he said he was a lawyer, it made sense. I was like, oh, okay, that's why he's that way. But you have to know how to separate personal from work. That was inappropriate. The way he was talking to him, the way he was asking who he voted for and everything. I was like, you doing too much. But he pegged him for the liar that he is, because Alex be lying. He be lying, okay? And I don't know if he's lying, because let's be real again. We know Alex is not there for the right reasons. Alex is there to get a sock or something. I don't know what he want. I don't know if he want to play, if he want to coach, if he want to talk about it. I don't know what he want to do, write about it. But he's there for soccer, okay? That's clear. The conversation that they had about, again, she's like, we haven't been physical or intimate since Cabo. Are you even attracted to me? Which he already expressed that he likes darker features on a woman, which we'll get to again later. And he's like, oh, it's not that, you know, it's just that, you know, I don't know when your period's coming and I don't want to have a baby right now. And all this stuff, he's just started talking about her period. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, huh? Her period. Like, it was so dumb. It was dumb. So then that didn't work to piss her off. So then he starts arguing about water bottles in the refrigerator. Again, just looking for a reason to fight. Because what are we talking about? Water bottles? Alex is a ding dong. What else happened with him? So, his mom, I think his mom is in on it. His mama understand the assignment, okay? It's a scheme that Todd set up, all right? And Todd, I mean him and his mama. Because I feel like she knew the script to cry on cue about how much he loves soccer. And he deserves to, you know, have a career in soccer. She understood the assignment. He said, Mom, I'm going on this show. It's about to help me with my career. I'm going to need you to cry a little bit. Because Mama's just like him. She all over the place too. He don't even know where she at. A hot mess. When I said we'll get to later about his dark feature attraction, well, before that, they were having a conversation about where he was right before coming to the show. And he mentioned that he stayed in Arizona. What was it, Arizona? I can't remember, where, Texas or something, with an ex-girlfriend. And he stayed with her and they hooked up and all this. But apparently this was like just like a couple weeks before he came to Love is Blind. Which is like, really? But again, we know why he's there. He also said, I got the message from LinkedIn to come on the show. You got a message from where? LinkedIn. Which, when I was saying earlier about Vic, I'm sure Vic got a message on LinkedIn because he's a professional man. And I'm sure Vic has a pretty nice LinkedIn profile. That's where they found Vic, I bet. But anyway, yeah. So he admitted that somebody hit him up on LinkedIn to come on Love is Blind. And she's like kind of irritated about the fact that, like, she's kind of like trying to figure out his motive or his reasoning for being there. And she's clocking it. She just ain't saying out loud, but she's clocking it. They had a mixer, which I'll come back around to the mixer and talk more about Alex and the mixer and all that later. Okay, let's talk about Bree and Connor. Bree is a little much as well. She's kind of loud. Connor's very chill, laid back, you know. But Bree, there's so much I want to say about Bree. Let's just fast forward to the mixer. Let's talk about the mixer, okay? Because damn everything else about Bree. Let's just get straight there. Oh, when Chris and Jessica broke up, which we're going to talk about Chris and Jessica. But when they broke up, she got a text and Connor got a text from Chris. When they got to the mixer, they were very supportive of Jessica, okay? And I'll tell you why in a sec. Well, y'all know. Y'all saw it. But I can't talk about Bree without talking about the other couple first. So, never mind. Let's talk about Chris and Jessica. All right. So, I forgot to kind of mention that in that first batch of episodes, they were like going to each other's homes and seeing how they live and all the things. And Jessica and Chris both have very nice homes, but Jessica's a doctor, so of course her house is amazing. And I think, and I agree with all of online, that, you know, that made him a little insecure, smaller than he already is, okay? Because he just unleashed his crazy out of nowhere, okay? They show him come home, or show Jessica come home from a long day of being a doctor. And Chris just is being weird, almost like he had been drinking or something. But he basically tells her that he, you know, is not physically attracted to her. And he's used to dating women who do CrossFit every day and go to Pilates every day. And she's not that. And he just, you know, he just can't do it. He's just not feeling the attraction. He doesn't feel like they have good chemistry or sexual chemistry or physical It was so crazy for him to be saying that to her. And Jessica is not in any way, shape, or form fat at all. Not thick at all. But when I tell y'all, my mouth was on the floor. I literally sat here and paused the TV and was like, and then tears started rolling down my face. Because I'm tired for us, okay? Like, first of all, let's talk about, when does the abuse on Love is Blind and Netflix at the expense of women stop, right? Y'all let this man say these disgusting, nasty things to this lady on national TV for ratings. When does it stop? Then, just in general, I'm tired of men being terrible people. Like, when are y'all gonna be better and not be trash? Sorry that my tripod like fell over and stuff. I don't feel like setting it back up. But anyway, they get to the mixer and Jessica shows up to the mixer and all the ladies are rallying around her like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry this happened to you. Oh my God. Including Brie. And Chris also shows up to the mixer. Which, before I get into that, I thought it was very interesting that Tyler said she wasn't invited to the mixer. That makes no sense. But whatever. Anyway, Chris shows up. 3 of the ladies, including Bree, being one of them, wants to hear Chris's side of the story for some reason, and allows him to still unleash and say really negative, nasty things about Jessica for no reason. And then 2 of the ladies leave Bree to him. And Bree wants to just feel like the girl that everybody wants, because there's no way she's attracted to Chris. No way. But she wanted to hear all the things. And she's like, well, why didn't you tell me all these things before? Like, because, you know, you didn't tell me before Connor. I chose Connor. And he's like throwing Connor under the bus, trying to like say that Connor wasn't going to pick her. Like, all types of stuff. They caught him in the bathroom saying something about how he's going to get Bree, and what's Connor going to do? Beat my ass? He might. Just weird. And it's weird that Bree was entertaining it. So disrespectful to Connor. But she didn't, back away from it until he's like, I feel like we would have been really good fuck buddies. And I want to take you to the 4 Seasons right now. What are you doing after this? Like, just real booty callish. Real, like, and it was telling her how the sex was so horrible, with just saying nasty things. Then all of a sudden, Bree wanted to back off when she realized, oh, this man's crazy. Oh, this man just wants me for sex. Oh, this man ain't for real. Then it was never anybody but Connor for me. Girl. Lies. I really can't wait for the reunion so I can hear Connor's perspective once he sees this playback of everything. But anyway, they get Chris out of there. Okay. Out of this situation scenario. And I thought then that things seemed to be looking just fine for Bree and Connor. They went on their little train ride, which I thought was super cute. And were basically like affirming their love for one another, which I loved. Words of affirmation is my love language. So I thought that was just so cute and so nice. But then later, they just jumped to them being all in love, to then jump into Bree basically talking in circles, telling Connor why she can't marry him. She said, I don't know if I'm just with you because you're a lesson or if because you are the person for me. And you're not an alpha male. And, I'm used to somebody who's going to order for me and, do everything for me. And you're not that organized. You're not this. You're not, like, just talking bad about him. And Connor is just there like, I love you. Yeah. But in spite of all that, I love you. I love you. And Bree is just not having it. She does not want this. It was very weird. That interaction, too, was strange. I don't understand it. But Alex at the mixer. Now, he's getting caught up in his lies because it comes to find out that him and Priyanka know each other. The brown girl. They know each other. How well they know each other, I don't know. But it was looking like they might know each other a little well. But they, I guess, have the same friend circle. And then she revealed some things that didn't add up to the story that he told Ashley about the ex-girlfriend. And he's just trying his best to answer quickly. I think he thinks if he answers fast that it sounds like the truth. No, sir. You're a liar. A liar. He also had googly eyes for Kia when she walked in. And Kia's a black girl. So Alex has made it very clear what he's attracted to and what he's not. Okay. So then Chris goes and talks to Jessica and asks her to come aside and talk. And he's like, you look so good. You look really good. Are you okay? Again, trying to gaslight it and flip it on her like she did something wrong. I wouldn't have even given him the time of day to talk to me. But she, told him about himself. But we wouldn't have even sat down and talked. So again, I'm thinking maybe production made her do it. I don't know. But ain't no way I would talk to that man. I don't think he's going to show up to the reunion. I don't think he can. There was a girl, his ex or something, that showed or put out on social media an audio voice message from him being a crazy person to her. He's nuts. So yeah, I think we've talked about everybody. I think going back to Amber and Jordan, the commentary that they were giving about Chris, like Amber was like, I'll kick him in his teeth, I'll whoop his ass. I was like, yes, Amber's my type of girl. I like Amber. And then Jordan was like, You should take a picture of your nutsack and send it to him in the DMs and from her DMs. Because he was sliding in the DMs still talking about where you at. To Bree. Nope. I don't like that man. I don't like Devontae. Alex is a liar. Jordan is cool. I like Jordan. Vic is cool. I like Vic. Mike is cool. I like Mike. Yeah, just Devontae and Chris. I don't like them. I do not. Not good people. But anyway, so that's my take, my opinion on things that are going on in Love is Blind. And I will be tuning in and watching the weddings this week and giving my review and my take. And then we'll be ready for the reunion. Thanks for watching, y'all. Leave your comment. Make sure you subscribe. Tell me what you think. And we'll talk later. Bye.